Hey folks, welcome to week 4 of DMD400 audio and video for the web. All right, let's see what we're doing this week. So week 4 under modules, we'll go to our week 4 overview. So this is a podcasting week. Remember, we are alternating weeks. Podcast week, motion graphics week, podcast week, motion graphics week. So anyway, this week is a podcast week, and we are just coming out of doing the history of podcasting. So now you've got a nice sort of overview about where it came from and how we got here, and now you're going to create your own podcast. So this week's goal is to create your teams. Yes, our podcast project is a team project. All of the motion graphics projects are individual projects, but the podcast one, you are working in teams. So the goal this week is to introduce the podcast project, which is technically Project 4. You're going to create and name your podcasting team. There's not a lot to do this week with regard to Project 4, but we do need to become familiar with it and kind of go over it. So we're going to do that. The consumable I gave you is this website called Discover Pods. Now, I didn't give you a specific article to read, other than this is a really great resource for articles and sort of assessments of various life as podcasting. So check it out and read through some of these on your own, just to give you a little insight into sort of the world, the current world of podcasting and sort of how that functions. So that is definitely a good sort of general read. Okay, so now this step 1 for Project 4, we're starting it this week and we're ending it this week. So it's a very quick 1-week turnaround on this. So it's due Friday, the end of this week is step 1 of Project 4. So be sure to check that due date. And we are going to continue with what we started last week, which is working on Project 2, your lyric video that we started last week in our motion graphics stuff in Adobe After Effects. So we'll check in on that in a second. Okay, so let's poke over and take a look at Project 4 and see exactly what that is. So Project 4 is making a podcast. So now that you understand the history of podcasts and the story about the growth of this thrilling medium, it's time to get started on leaving your imprint on its future by creating your very own podcast. So this semester-long project, and it's mostly semester-long, we're starting it here in week 4, and then it goes all the way to the end. So it's about 3/4 of the semester. Has a total of 6 deliverables. You're going to be turning in 6 different things to get through this project. The first thing we're going to turn in again at the end of this week, Friday. So step 1, you're going to create your teams. Creating a brand new podcast is a lot of work. So as such, we will be working in teams of 2 or 3. Not only do many hands make lighter work, but collaboration helps to enrich the creative process. Plus, in the real world, even the most independent podcasts have multiple people involved to write, produce, promote, and be on-air talent. So while your team won't be that big, you will have to play to your strengths, divide up the work, and successfully work together. So really, the main thing you're going to do this week is decide on your teams. Now, I am not going to choose teams for you. This is a 400 level class. By now, you should know how to work together. I'm going to let you pick your own teams. 2 or 3 people per team. You decide on the amount. No more than 3. No less than 2. So figure that out, and then you're going to decide on your teams. You're going to, once you've got that figured out, you're going to just, on a Microsoft Word document, you're going to upload to Canvas the list of the people who are on your teams, give me the team member names, and come up with a name for your team. Your podcast needs to have some kind of a production company or a team name, so come up with a name, have some fun with it. So this is a really quick deliverable. This won't take you long. Obviously, figuring out who you're going to work with and sort of deciding who's going to do what is really important. So spend a little time having those discussions with your potential team members. But once you've got that decided on, get it onto a Word document and upload that onto Canvas. So the names of your team members and your team name. Now, of course, if you want to read ahead for the project, you can do that. We've got multiple steps. There are 6 steps total. I would encourage you to read ahead through this entire handout just so you have an idea of what's coming up. Don't let it sneak up on you, right? So step 1 is create your team. Step 2, decide what your podcast is all about. Step 3, investigate your inspirations. Step 4, collect your sources. Step 5, make your pre-podcast content. And then step 6 is to make the actual podcast episode or episodes. So certainly read through this handout in advance just so you know what's coming up. But for this week, just step 1. okay? Now, like I said, meanwhile, in the background, you're going to keep working on Project 2, which is our motion graphics project to make a lyric video. So by now, you have already chosen a song from these destinations to pick your song from. Maybe you've written down all the lyrics, you've got your content ready to go, you've chosen all your pictures that you're going to use in the background, and you're starting to lay it out into Adobe After Effects. Remember, these motion graphics projects are written in such a way that they're step by step. You literally follow the handout in the order that I give it to you, and then that'll give you ways in which to get it done, okay? So the draft of this is due coming up soon, so check the due dates. So make sure you're working on that. Don't fall behind. Laying out all the lyrics into After Effects is going to take a bit of time. And of course, remember, you want the lyrics to appear on the screen at the time that they appear in the song. So that's going to require some time and coordination. So make sure you're working on that. We will have time in class this week to help everybody out with whatever they're working on. So if you get stuck or you need some help, be ready to have that ready to go in class, okay? All right, so keep working on your stuff. If you need me, you know where to find me. Mondays and Fridays are the online office hours. And of course, you can catch me by email anytime. I will talk to you guys soon.